All right, let's get to Utah Senator Mike Lee joining us from Washington this morning, talking about the voting rights bill. Senator, good morning. Nice to have you back on the show.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Senator, the messaging around the For the People Act has been totally hijacked over the last several months, making something as normal as an identification seem like it's too much to ask of the American people. What do you see as the biggest problem with this bill?
The problem with this bill is that it doesn't make it easier to vote. It just makes it easier to vote illegally. It makes it harder for states to detect and stop voter fraud. And it would result in a massive infusion of taxpayer funding into political campaigns, which no American wants.
Senator, I'm not sure if I should call you Mike, Senator Lee, or future Supreme Court Justice Lee. We can argue about what your title is. But I'd love to know what you are hearing from the Biden administration about this. But what are they saying is the reason why they want to have a takeover, a complete takeover in Washington of how we run elections?
Like all people trying to bring about a major socialist upheaval, they're arguing that there's some sort of an emergency. And they're arguing that in light of what Georgia did to Georgia's election laws and other states are doing to their election laws, that there's this massive new need to federalize all election law. Turns out it's just not true at all. This proposal has been around for a few years. It long predates 2021. Look, this is their effort to claim that there is a problem so that they can consolidate all power. But what we know about the consolidation of power is that just makes it a lot more easy for people to manipulate a system. And that's what it would do here.
Senator, do you think any other Democrats could surprise us today? Have you had any conversations with Kristen Sinema? I know that Joe Manchin is a definite no today. At least he's intimated as such. Do you think there are any other senators on the left that could vote against this bill?
I doubt it. I talk to Kirsten Sinema all the time, and she is a good friend. She is a co-sponsor of S1. I think she might even be the lead sponsor of S1 in the Senate. And so I expect her to vote for cloture on the motion to proceed. But assuming that fails, of course, I don't expect her to do anything that would amount to nuking the filibuster.
Will Republicans use a filibuster to block this measure or do anything they can to block this?
Oh, yeah, we're going to do anything and everything we can to block this thing. This is horrible. There are about 15 massive policy problems coupled with about 15 massive constitutional problems. We can't take any chances with this thing. This represents an existential threat to our ability as a country to operate as we were designed constitutionally.
Senator, do you think there's some messaging issues with regard to this bill? A lot of the measures that were put in place in the fall to make it easier for people to vote as a direct result of the coronavirus pandemic. They were always meant to be temporary, but now the administration wants to make them in large part permanent.
No, look, that's how it works. As my wife likes to say, all socialism starts out as emergency socialism.
Right.
Anytime government expands, it does so with the guise under the understanding that it's a temporary condition necessitated by some type of imminent pressing need. And that's why they're claiming one here. But the fact is that they've told us for many years that these are proposals they want because this bill itself is years old.
Senator, I know you're up for re-election next year, and I hope that the citizens of Utah understand how important it is to have your voice in the Senate. What are you hearing when you go back home to Utah? What are the issues that people are really charged up about right now?
One of the things that people worry about right now is inflation, the fact that their dollar is going less far every single day, in part as a result of this massive influx of federal government activity in their lives, massive government spending. We're essentially just printing more money, and that's affecting people's day-to-day lives. From small business owners of every size for that matter, I'm hearing that people are having a hard time hiring employees, in part because the federal government has crowded out so much of the space in this area through these infusions and through the temporary unemployment insurance benefit associated with COVID.
I always thought this statistic was fascinating, Senator. In 2020, Democrats used the filibuster 327 times. The Republicans used it just once. So we'll see. We'll see if that continues. Senator Mike Lee, nice to see you again. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.